Our identity, which is made up of our age, sex, ability, race, ethnicity, origin, religion, and socioeconomic status, can have a direct impact on our income and participation in the political, social, and economic sphere. Inequalities pervade when our actions, attitudes, and policies discriminate against individuals and communities. This is referred to as marginalization and takes the form of racism, sexism, ageism, disability, and xenophobia. Goal 10 seeks to reduce these inequalities, to encourage prosperity and income growth within and between countries by ensuring equal opportunities, respect for human rights, and inclusivity. So, why is it necessary to address inequality? People living in poverty need to access economic growth. More than 75% of the population in developing countries are living in societies where income is more unequally distributed now than it was in the 1990s. Disadvantaged and vulnerable people must be protected. Human rights cannot be taken away from us, but vulnerable populations still face discrimination. Governments must recognize and protect the rights of vulnerable populations to be able to support them. Protection must be put into place for vulnerable populations, including the disabled, the extreme poor, and other marginalized populations. People who leave one country to live in another must benefit from laws to protect them. When state protects and supports migrants and enables them to earn a decent pay and have decent working conditions, their productivity contributes to the host country in a mutually beneficial relationship. Income inequality is directly related to physical and mental health. If we are going to strengthen decent work and economic growth, we need to understand how inequalities and marginalization prevent vulnerable populations from accessing these opportunities. Our policies, attitudes, and behaviors need to remove these barriers to make employment more inclusive. The targets therefore include providing support for people living in poverty to access resources for sustainable economic development, to ensure laws and practices that represent and reflect people's needs whilst not discriminating against any group, facilitating and supporting regular, responsible, and safe migration and mobility of people, ensuring social programs and laws that protect and include disadvantaged and vulnerable populations, ensuring that people leaving one country to live in another benefit from laws and protection. What can you do? Start conversations with your friends and family members about existing inequalities in your community. Raising awareness and changing attitudes about differences within your community is a great first action step. Learn about inequality in your community. How are people in your community experiencing the effects of inequality? Become friends with people who are different from you. This is a great way to learn about the experiences of people from different backgrounds. Get vocal. If you see inequalities and want to address them, raise your voice and draw attention to the issues. Stand up for what you believe in. Don't be afraid to speak up when your friends, family, or anyone around you experiences discrimination. Be inclusive. Don't leave people out just because they are different from you. Ask them to join your sports team, your book club, or virtual hangout. Never stop fighting for what is right. We need your help to create an inclusive and fair society for everyone.
Hello, my name is Anushia Moodliar, and I'll be reading a book called The Lost Homework, written by Richard O Neill, and the pictures are drawn by Kirsti Beautyman. The Lost Homework. Sonny lived on a traveller's site with his parents, cousins, and other neighbours. The site was a Kushti Achintan, a real community, and there was always something going on. Sonny loved school. He liked to do his homework on a Friday so that he could enjoy the weekend without having to think about it. This particular Friday, he was busier than usual as the family was going to a cousin's wedding the following day. The cart had to be cleaned, ready to transport the newlyweds. Shoes needed to be polished and clothes had to be put out, ready for the morning. They had to call the farrier because Lolo, the driving gear, had thrown a shoe. The farrier heated up the metal shoes until they were glowing red, orange, and then white. "Why do they have to be so hot?" Sunny asked. "To create what's called thermal expansion," she explained. "The metal structure changes when it reaches 1300 degrees Celsius, so I can adjust the shape of the shoes to fit the horse's hooves." Later that evening, Sunny got out the road map to plan the journey. He liked being able to picture where they were going. Besides, they'd used the sat-nav and it had taken them the wrong way. "We'll have the horse box in the trailer, so remember to avoid the motorway," said Dad. Sunny wrote down the route and used the scale to calculate the distance. "So," said Dad, "if the wedding is 180 kilometers away and we drive at 80 kilometers per hour, it will take us at least 2 hours and 15 minutes, calculated Sunny. Early next morning, they set off, wearing their best clothes. Uncle George and Auntie Pearl led the way with Sunny reading the map. The rest of the family followed behind. When they arrived, Lolo was harnessed to the cart to take Betty Lee to the church. After the service, the newlyweds travelled to the reception together. Mum and Dad chatted with the family and old friends. "Oh look, there's Great Aunt Regina," said Sunny, rushing over to say hello. After the meal and the speeches, there was music and dancing. Sunny hovered by the stage, holding his harmonica. He wasn't much of a dancer, but loved playing music. "Up you come, Butty Mush," said the singer. "The more Kushti musicians, the merrier." Later, the storyteller took to the stage. After sharing a few tales, he asked if anyone else wanted a turn. Sunny was a little nervous, but worked up the courage to perform his latest story. The crowd laughed and clapped. "That was a great story," the storyteller said. "Where did you learn it?" "I learned it at school," Sunny replied. The storyteller smiled and nodded. "Well done." As Sunny and his family got ready to head home, they could hear the storyteller and some of the older people still telling tales. Before church on Sunday, Sunny took the younger children to the park. "Let's see who can do the fastest circuit," Crystal laughed. "Jalan!" "We're not supposed to get our Sunday clothes dirty," said Sunny. After church, Sunny stopped in at one of the bungalows near the site. "I'm glad you're here, Sunny," said Mrs. Stevens. "I want to email my grandson. I'm sure you can show me how." "Of course," replied Sunny. "Goodness, when I was your age, we had to find a pen, write a letter, and post it, and then wait days for a reply," laughed Mrs. Stevens. "Life might have been a lot easier with one of these," Sunny smiled. Sunny loved cooking, so when he got home, he rushed to help his mum with the Sunday dinner. She said he made the best Yorkshire puddings in the world. All of a sudden, he remembered that he still hadn't done his homework. But his book wasn't in his school bag. It wasn't in his bedroom either. He even looked in the truck, but it was nowhere to be seen. Panicking, Sunny ran back to the utility block. "I can't find my homework book," he cried. "Can you help me look for it?" "I'm putting out the food," said Mum. "I'll help you look for it later. Don't worry, there's plenty of time." After lunch, Sunny offered to help his local community group. Grandma had given them her old Vado and they were restoring it. "We need to finish the painting today," announced Shirley, the leader. "Look at these old pictures I found," said Sunny. "Wow, look at the detail," said Gary. Whoever painted that caravan was very talented. On his way back to the site, Sunny remembered his homework again. "Can you help me find my homework book, Aunt Pearl?" Sunny asked. "Oh, Sunny, I've got all these pennies to finish for market tomorrow," she said. "If you help me, I might have time to look." The sewing was fiddly and he needed a lot of patience. Luckily, Aunt Pearl was a good teacher. By the time they had finished, there was only an hour before bed. Everyone helped Sunny look for his homework book, but it was nowhere to be found. "What am I going to do? I always do my homework. I can't go to school without it," Sunny sighed. "Don't be upset," said Mom. "You'll just have to explain how busy you've been. Let's make sure Miss Hamston knows that. We all care about your schoolwork," she added. "I'll write a note for you as well." On Monday, Sunny nervously gave his teacher the note. "I'm really sorry, miss. I didn't even notice I'd lost my homework book until Sunday lunchtime. We looked everywhere. We really did." He felt like he was letting his family down. "I believe you, Sunny, but it's odd you didn't realize it was lost until then," she said, smiling. "It must have been a very busy weekend." "It was, miss," Sunny replied, relieved. Once they were all inside, Sunny told the whole class about his busy weekend using his best storyteller style. "Well, Sunny," said Miss Harmston, "you may not have done the homework I set, but you've done plenty of maths and English. In fact, you've covered every other subject too." She looked at the class and said, "Who knows how?" "He did science and maths with the farrier," said Ellie. "He did geography and maths when he planned the journey," said Anaya. "He did music and English at the wedding," said Bradley. "He did food cooking lunch," said Mohammed. "And design and technology with Aunt Pearl." "He did PE at the park," said Alyssa. "He did IT and history with Mrs. Stevens," said Quetta. "And also with the community project," added Shanice. Sunny's mouth fell open in shock. That evening, Sunny showed his family a note from Miss Harmston. "Who'd have thought all this home stuff would have been school stuff too?" laughed Dad. The end.